we got both our sides done. Got our pivots, our arm pivots, our bearing carriers, and our motors and our weights installed now. And in the instructions it says to go ahead and start putting your fan on the grill. We're gonna wait on that because I want to paint all this first, and then we'll gotta install this before do the fan as well. So we'll get back to that after we get the painting done. Excuse me. So we'll go ahead and set that to the side, and for now we're going to move on to the next portion, which is going to be building the running gear. Now we're going to build the running gear, but what I want to do is paint the rollers and the arms and such. So essentially what we're going to do is we'll start building this, but we're not going to completely build it just yet. We'll just do the rough of what it is. So to start it off, we're going to take our grab this pin. We're going to take our ball stud. We're going to place it inside. All right, get our nut. This is going to be an M8 nut. Get it in there, and then we'll go ahead and spin it on, tighten it down. And then what you'll do is you want to grab, it doesn't really matter what you grab. I just been grabbing these, and I kind of slightly grab it, and then I'll tighten it down as hard as you can, and then that should be more than enough. It's probably a better idea to add some Loctite in here. I may do that. Just some of this blue thread locker. And let's do that now, actually, because I'll forget. Okay, so got a thread lock in there. Hopefully that won't move anymore. And then that's the only other thing you have to do. And then what we'll do is, I'm just gonna want to clean this up a little bit. You may need to clean up in here as well, depending on your print settings. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and start getting our M3 by 14s. Like I said before, this is my favorite screw for some reason. So this is what you'll end up with. And then we'll go ahead and handle all this after we get the painting done. But we'll get this built, set it to the side, build the other one. I'll be taking this one apart. I haven't taken it fully apart. I was gonna just spray paint it like it is, but I'm not too sure I want to do that. I think I want to take it all apart and then do that. So I'll do that off camera. But now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and start to put together all of our rollers and such. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to push down right here on this center, where that center piece is, right? And I'm going to also kind of squish in this roller, and then I'm going to set this in. Well, if I can get it, I'm just going to start this one just to get it nice and in there. All right. And then I'm going to pick it up and do the same thing over here. And then what we'll do is we're going to tighten down this one side just enough until that gets nice and closed. Boom. All right, there's that part. So then what we'll do is get this one nice and situated, just enough to protrude out, and then we'll start this side. And then I'm going to screw in a little bit, just enough to kind of get it started. Grab our other one, enough to get it started. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and push down again on the center. You want it to be relatively hard, or you want it to be nice and tight, and then we're going to go ahead and screw in our last one. And there you go. And in theory, if you got it tight enough, this center part will stay in when you pull this pin. So that's how tight you want it to be. And then you'll see there's a slight gap on this side and a slight gap on that. So what you can do is you can kind of try and center it. You don't have to worry about centering it too much, but sometimes it bothers me when I see it like that. So I'll adjust that later on. But that's that one side. All right, that looks great. Then we'll go ahead and grab our next one. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. Get our bearing in here. Get our press. And you guys, I know this isn't a press, I'm just joking around. It's definitely not a press. All right, that looks good. You can see this side is just a little bit longer, so just give it a little whack. That looks okay. So we're gonna do the same thing. Set it in there. All right, get our pin locks. Let's go ahead and get one of these started. Okay. And we're going to tighten one side down. I'll leave that just a little bit until I can get this one in. Roll her down. Roll her down. All right. Again, squeeze it. Squeeze the center. Get that first one started. Looks good to me. Still a little tight. You'll notice that it'll, if you think it's too tight, just kind of go back and forth like this. And using these new bearings and rollers and things like that, you're gonna have some nice, and it's gonna be nice and tight at first. It's starting to loosen up. I can definitely feel it. So that's how we do these idler arm setups. So what I'm gonna do is continue to get all these done right here. We'll switch all these out. Keep those. So we just gotta switch these out. And then here is the other half of the front roller here. So remember I was mentioning to glue it. So what I'll do here is I'll press these bearings in place. On both sides. And this is the same part, it's just front idle wheel. You're gonna just make 2 of them. Right? So once we get that looking good, we'll grab our handy dandy bearing press. This is just a pipe wrench, or crescent wrench again. Not crescent wrench, excuse me. Channel locks. Beauty. Beauty, eh? So that's what that's supposed to look like. And then what you're gonna wanna do is to align these, is just set that pin in there. And then what I'll do is I'll just take one of these ends off, right? And then we're gonna grab just a little bit of glue, right? And you don't need much. Maybe in the center of this roller here. And the goal here is to keep it away from this hole. Alright, slide our pin in. Make them together. Go ahead and squeeze it. Excuse me. We'll just make sure that this moves freely still. I don't see any glue on it. Alright, so then what we'll do, I'll grab my clamp here, just to help me clamp it down. I can see the gap here versus the other side, so I'm going to try and really squeeze this side. So that seems pretty good. We'll wipe off any excess glue. Seems a little bigger here, but we're okay with that. And I mentioned I was going to keep this cylinder off. I think I'm going to leave it on when I paint. I'll just tape this part up. I might end up changing this to like a silver filament. Maybe wrap it with some foil or something. I know I mentioned I wanted to use this, but the idea of cutting this and then making it work, I just think it'd be just too much work for not that much visual effect. So then we'll go ahead and grab our covers here. And with this, oops. Get the screws. With these ones, I'm going to use M3 by 12. All right, line your pin up. Get that nice and set on there. Just go ahead and start to thread it. You don't need to go down all the way. We want to wait until we get both of them in. All right, so once again, just line up this pin. This pin might be 1 millimeter longer on each side. So what I'll usually do, just because I don't want to see that, I'll flush it out to this side here. This is going to be our finished side or our outside. So you'll notice it's about 2 mil long on this one. So then what we'll do is we'll go through and we'll clamp it down. Now that ain't moving at all. So grab our other one. Excuse me, there's that. Okay, so you do this for both sides. And again, these are going to be two different parts. One's going to be passenger side, one's going to be driver side. The main difference is going to be which side this is on. You want that to be on the inside of your track guide. So we're going to go ahead and call these done. We'll paint. We'll get those ready for paint. We got this side, the other side done as well. So we'll go ahead and those are ready for paint. These are ready for paint. We just got to clean them off. So the only other thing that we really have to do is we have to continue to build the rest of these rollers. After that, it was the ripper, because we need to get the ripper on in order to before you get before you start getting the running gear on, we need to get the ripper on, because you won't have access to these screws over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and build the ripper because we are gonna paint it. So the ripper uses multiple screws, but it uses 2 halves, obviously for easier printing. So we'll go ahead and grab our, definitely not our 14s, no more 14s right now. We'll grab our M3 by 12 millimeter self tappers. And I already glued this, but you'll take your 2 ripper halves, or your ripper blade, take your halves and then go ahead and glue them together. One of the easier ways to do this, you're not going to end up using this hole. You're going to use this bigger hole. So the easier way to do it is just take when you're gluing it, you could go ahead and screw them together right here, just to align it, help you align it, and then you should be good to go. Or just take just an M5 bolt and just put it through here, or M5 rod, just to kind of help you align it and get that together. And we're not going to put this in because, again, we're going to paint this, but if you did already have it painted, you would just slide this in place and just push it all the way to the top. Go ahead and grab your M5. I had an M5 bolt in here, not this one. I think it was a shorter guy, but I had an M5 bolt in here. If you want to be slick with it, get like an M5, or excuse me, a 5 millimeter dowel, and cut it to length. What's the length here? 17 mil is what you want to cut that at, and then just press it in, and you'll if you ever want to get it out, just unpress it. But maybe I'll paint this in place. No, we're gonna paint it separately. So go ahead and get that built, and if you have it painted, go ahead and continue on. You just get your 5 millimeter, get that set in there, and then you're gonna go ahead and grab your upper links. I reprinted these. The ones I was testing with didn't have any bearings. So what we'll do here, get all of our supports off. OCD is going to kick in. It's going to bother me. What's your back? There's some support build in here. Okay. Grab our our 4 mil bearings. Got a bunch of these. And this is M4, excuse me, 4 mil by 8 mil by 4 mil. And they're not gonna play nice. So what I'll do is I'll see about putting them right here and trying to push them in. I don't want to play nice. So the next step is to just get this one on this back side as well. Kind of maybe get it in the same position to where it doesn't want to just fall out. And I'll grab my handy dandy pipe wrench or channel locks, and then we'll go ahead and push them in. Probably not the best tool to use, but it's my tool. I like using them. We got ourselves our rods.